So usually, how many people are there in your batch currently? Any idea?
Exact count we don't have, sir, but generally when we see during the session 20 to 25, I mean, including you and BRAOAU,
Okay.
administrator, Narsimulu sir and all, total participants would be around 23 to 25.
Okay. Okay.
So because we have exactly 1 hour, so you just start, sir, because anyways it is available on the YouTube also.
Hmm.
We can refer it back.
Okay. So you remember we had been discussing about empathy uh, and basic counseling skills, and probably we are discussing these skills as a part of Egan's model of counseling, skilled helper model of counseling. Okay. So probably we can try a few exercises today. Okay. I mean, we don't have this facility of creating groups in this Zoom. So you have to try individually these exercises. If that facility was there, probably we can create some rooms and where two of you can practice and then one of you can observe. But I think that cannot be done. Uh, that facility is not available in this Zoom app. Okay. So let's look at this exam. Okay. So I think this is something that we had already seen, right? So there are different levels of empathy. Okay. So now for the next stimulus, probably you can try uh, developing a empathetic response or empathic response. Okay. So it says, I know I am a competent professional, and yet I'm very scared that I may not be promoted. So you just try your responses for that. Just take 2 minutes and try.
Can we say you seem to be extremely worried about your future aspects of career or about your current promotion?
Lack of self confidence.
The client knows his strengths, but still lacking some confidence.
Negative thoughts. Mhm.
Maybe the earlier days of practice, independent practice, or the counselor may not be self-prepared, well-prepared to, to face the client, something like that. Self-confidence.
Sir, your audience is muted. Sir, Vidyadhara sir, your audience is muted.
Yeah. So I was telling you, sorry, I didn't notice that my mic got muted and I kept speaking. So I was telling you that the idea here is to learn to develop an empathic response. Okay. So there is a basic formula here, that is, you feel and mention the emotion what they are feeling, because the content is experience or behavior. Okay. Apply the same thing to that previous stimulus. So you don't even have to read it aloud. You can write it for yourself. I'll present what I have written. Okay. So, like, if you are detracting, what you would say is, when you're competent, why are you scared? Don't be scared. Okay. It's not empathic response. And the next thing is, you seem to be little concerned. The problem here is, he is not little concerned. You are reducing the intensity of what the client is feeling. So that is why it is subtract. It is always okay to amplify but not reduce it, because reduction means the client will feel invalidated. Client will feel that we are not understanding the impact of it on them. So to be on the safe side, it is okay to use the higher intensity of emotions but not reduce the intensity. Okay. Then it is just a simple repetition. You are saying that you are a competent professional and yet you are very scared that you may not be selected. It is basically the simple repetition. Then, like, you identify the deeper feeling when you say, you seem to be quite scared and worried and also dejected that you might not be promoted despite your sense of your own professional competence. Okay. One important aspect is it is his sense of his own competence. He is believing that he is competent. Okay. Next, deeper feeling and meaning. So basically, do not be in a hurry to respond when a client says something. It's okay to take time and process rather than saying something in a hurry and feeling compelled to say something and saying things inaccurately, which would make the client feel that we are not able to understand the client. Okay, just take time. So, what are the steps or tactics for responding with empathy? Basically, give yourself time to think. Like initially, when you are doing it, don't use long sentences or phrases. Okay, try to use short responses. Okay, and like sometimes clients might be talking about some issue in an animated manner, very excited. Okay, they're sharing some experience in an excitement, and you use a dull tone. So that is not matching what the client is saying. So try to gear your responses to the client, but you don't have to change yourself. Maybe if yourself is not like you are not somebody who gets animated that easily, but at least gear your response, show some excitement when you're responding. So that's also shows empathy. Okay, gear your responses to the client, but remain yourself. Then there is also another level of empathy which is basically used in the probably middle of the second stages of Egan's model, and also at the end of from the second stage you continue to use deeper level of empathy, that is advanced empathy. So basically, what is advanced empathy? It is ability to communicate and understand what the client says indirectly, what they may imply, hint at, but not they are not saying it explicitly, but they may also say it non-verbally. So basically, you need to pick up the underlying theme, which is only possible when you understand the person, when you really know the person. Okay, so that is why we will not be able to show this kind of an empathy in the beginning stages of therapy or counseling, because you are still trying to understand the client. Okay, so you need to understand what is, like, you need to pick up the basic empathy, that is basic feelings and the content, and also identify what is behind what is not said, what is said, like what is not said behind what is said. Okay, and as I already mentioned to you, put it across tentatively. Okay, like as if I mean, you don't present it as if you know for sure. You present it tentatively, like I wonder, if you have plenty of choices uh, and struggling as to which one to choose. Okay, so that tentative language is something that it seems, I wonder, it is basically a tentative language. Okay, so advanced empathy requires basically emotional intelligence. Now, what do you do in advanced empathy? So you first look at what is the person only half saying. Okay, what is the person hinting at, but he is not clearly saying, and what is the person saying in a confused way, what covert message is behind the explicit message, what is the underlying message behind what they are saying it explicitly. So you need to be asking these questions in order to in order to be able to give or show advanced empathy. Okay. So advanced empathy basically requires emotional intelligence. Okay. It's a higher level ability. And when you are fully aware, when you are somebody who can reflect on your own experience and understand yourself, probably you will be able to do that to other person as well. So it is suggested, in order to develop advanced empathy, we need to be somebody who 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 on a constant basis reflect on our experiences. Take a step back and reflect on our experiences. We need to be somebody who can talk about our deeper experiences. Okay, that's when you can develop advanced empathy. Okay. So constructive advanced empathy requires emotional intelligence and social competence on your part. Okay. So in the next few slides, again, I'm going to present different stimuli, okay, or different statements given by clients. So I want you to take 1 or 2 minutes time to develop your own responses. Then I'll present the responses that I've given. You don't need to share. Okay. You can just check. I'm not saying my responses are the best responses. You could also develop a much better empathic response, but I try to give different levels of response. Okay. So this is for just for you to check whether you are able to give empathic responses. Okay. So I think I have 6 different statements. I will show one by one. Okay. Now this is the client statement. Okay. I have been feeling really overwhelmed at work lately. There is just so much to do, and I feel like I can't keep up. Okay, so you try to use that formula that you are feeling because, and try to put it in that, and instead of using the same feeling word, try to find another feeling word which reflects the same feeling. Just take 1 minute time, and by the end of these 6 slides, you should become confident in developing an empathic response. Okay, I hope you have written on your notebooks. So it sounds like you're feeling quite stressed and pressured by your workload, or you can say you're feeling quite stressed and pressured by your workload. Okay, and you need to show that emotion in your voice, the way you lean. Okay, then it makes probably it can have a stronger impact on the client. Okay, so we'll go to the next. Uh, the client says, "My partner and I have been arguing a lot recently. It's like we cannot have a conversation without it turning into a fight. My partner and I have been arguing a lot recently. It's like we can't have a conversation without it turning into a fight." So recognize the emotions recognize the reason for those emotions, or what is the experience, what is the behavior, and put it in the form of you feel because in that form. See, initially we use this formula. This formula might look like it is so stylized formula, but slowly we can like replace that with a normal human language. Okay, that daily human language. But when you are initially learning, I think it is better to use that formula. Okay, just probably a few more seconds. I'll wait and I'll present the responses. Okay, so the basic empathic response would be, so you can also say it in this different way, where you can say you're feeling really upset because of the arguments that are going on with your partner. Okay, that is the basic form. This is in normal like day-to-day language. Okay, and there is also tentativeness to this statement. It sounds like, okay, then like if you go to the next level, let's say intermediate empathic response, how would it look like? You seem really distressed about the frequent arguments with your partner, and it's making communication very difficult. Okay, I have few more points that are coming up. You can take pictures later, like once the full slide is there. Okay, so this is intermediate empathic response, and you can also put this in a different way. It seems like frequent arguments with your partner are causing you a lot of distress and making it hard for you to communicate effectively. Okay, then a little bit advanced empathic response would be, the constant arguing with your partner is causing you a lot of distress, and it seems to be impacting your ability to have productive conversations. This must be very frustrating and painful for you. Okay, you're also picking up some feelings which are not conveyed. Okay, frustration and pain probably that are implied. Probably you can also give a complex kind of an empathic response. Uh, it's like the frequent arguments with your partner are leaving you feeling distressed and making it hard to communicate effectively. It sounds like these conflicts are taking a significant emotional toll on you and your relationship. I hope you are all trying to understand the components of what is being presented there. Okay, there is empathy, there is active listening, there is some amount of clarification also that goes in.
Sir, can you explain this complex empathic response again? And what exactly we are conveying in this case?
So, sorry.
Can you please explain this complex empathic response? Sir? Here, exactly what we are saying, like apart from this advanced empathic response, earlier we were telling that
See,
uncover areas
it
like.
no. It is more or less similar here because the information that is given by client is not much there. Okay. So that, like, if you see, our response is bigger than what the client said,
Okay.
right? So that means like we know the client's history also, we know the client's context also. Though here I just presented that word, we use the understanding of the client that we have, what they have been going through, what we have spoken to the client before. So we are capturing the depth of that meaning, how it is for them.
Okay.
Okay. So in the next slides, probably you will understand little bit more.
Sir,
Uh, in the coming slides, you will understand a little bit more.
can the counselor choose any of these responses?
No. That's what I'm saying. Probably the initial levels of empathic responses are helpful in the initial stages. Okay. As you gain more and more understanding of the client, probably you will go into the next levels, higher levels of empathy, which helps the clients to challenge themselves, reflect. Okay. So these kind of advanced empathic responses are used in the later stages of counseling.
So this may increases the trust on the counselors, trust
I'm
and
sorry,
belonging.
I hear a lot of noise and I'm unable to hear you clearly.
I'm sorry, sir. In this advanced and complex empathetic responses with this, the client will have a strong, belongingness or positive response on us, so that he rely on us completely.
Yeah. So there is more of deep connection there. We are picking up the deeper levels of feeling.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going into the next slide. Okay. So this client is saying, ever since my friend moved away, I feel really lonely. I know I should reach out to other people, but it's hard. I don't want to seem needy. The very basic empathic response would be you identify the feeling, that is loneliness. Okay. And the reason is because his friend moved away. You will put it in the same simple basic. You feel so and so because of so and so. So the basic empathic response would be, it sounds like you are feeling lonely since your friend moved away. Okay. Uh, and what would be intermediate empathic response? What can you add to that basic empathic response?
You seem really lonely as your friend moved away.
Hmm. And he's also talking about reaching out to other people, right? And he's saying it is hard. So we can say probably you're finding it or you're feeling it difficult to reach out to friends, right? Because you're concerned or you're worried about appearing a needy person, appearing like a needy person, right? So that could be intermediate empathic response. You seem really lonely without your friend, and reaching out to others feels difficult because you're worried about appearing needy. And an advanced empathic response. See, I try to give advanced empathic response for all the statements. We won't be able to give empathic responses, and we should not give also for all the statements. Then the therapy session will not move. For every session, you keep giving advanced empathic response or empathic response. So you need to know when to intervene and when to say these things. Okay. Yeah. So advanced empathic response would be you are experiencing a deep sense of loneliness since your friend moved away. And although you want to connect with others, you are concerned about how you might be perceived if you reach out. Okay, that must be a tough situation for you, right? And little bit more complex. Again, here we cannot differentiate much because there is not much content here. So since your friend moved away, you have been feeling a profound loneliness, and the fear of like seeming needy makes it hard for you to reach out others. It sounds like the situation is weighing heavily on you and impacting your ability to seek support. So we are probably a little bit moving ahead and saying it might be impacting your ability to seek support. We are hinting at something. There is a possibility of seeking support, but you are probably not able to do that. Okay, so we'll get into the next slide. So the client says, I just don't know what to do anymore. I am stuck in a job I hate, and every time I think about leaving, I get scared. What if I can't find anything better? What if I fail? Okay. So now try to develop a basic empathic response for this. There might be variety of emotions presented here or implied here, but at least pick one or two emotions.
Can we read it out, sir? Like, can we tell?
Let's do like this. Let
Okay.
in the first statement,
We'll write it.
I just don't know what to do anymore. Okay, what is the feeling behind that statement?
Because
He's feeling lost or confused.
Okay,
more than
feeling lost.
confusing,
Okay, feeling lost is definitely I would say closer. What else? In that one
he's having
statement, I just don't know what to do anymore.
Confusion.
he's
Yes,
worried about later whether he'll get the another appropriate job. I mean, whether he'll get a job or not. He's worried
that
about
is
this.
that is the next part of the statement. We will just try to pick up the feeling behind first statement. I just don't know what to do anymore.
Helplessness.
Ah, very good. So helplessness. Okay, and there is a feeling of I got stuck here. Right? I don't know anymore. I'm just here, but it's like the stuck is the word that he has already used. You can also say probably I'm feeling trapped. Okay, and as somebody is suggesting, next part is there is a fear. Right? You can use those feelings to develop a basic empathic response. Okay, so basic empathic response would be: it sounds like you're feeling trapped in your job and scared about the future. And intermediate empathic response would be: you seem really unhappy in your job and fearful about leaving because of the uncertainty and potential failure. Okay. And you can also use in place of uncertainty, like you're feeling helpless in your job. Then advanced empathic response, again, we can talk about feeling stuck and he's not satisfied, that there is no satisfaction, and that he's scared of probably not being able to find anything good. Okay, and that is what
Fear of,
probably making him not try anything. Okay, uh,
fear of failure.
yeah,
What
so you can talk about fear of failure, you can talk about confusion. Okay, mostly the things that are not directly told but you can imply will come under advanced empathy. So don't think that my response is the best advanced empathic response. You can develop much better response than that as well. Okay, I'm just giving you the model. You are feeling stuck in a job that brings you no satisfaction, and the fear of not finding anything better or failing is holding you back from making a change. So that is very, very important, making a change. So this must be a very distressing and confusing time for you. Okay. Then going to complex empathic response, feeling trapped in a job you dislike is causing you significant distress, and the fear of unknown and potential failure is paralyzing you and from seeking something more fulfilling. Okay. It sounds like the situation is creating a lot of anxiety and uncertainty about your future. So you also remember when you are presenting this, you are bringing to the field of awareness certain things. Like when you are, it's like it is like a mirror to them. So they are looking from outside. Okay, this is what is happening. So they can have a third person perspective. Like they can look at their own internal world outside when you are presenting like this. You getting my point? Whatever is happening inside, you are showing a mirror to them through this, so they can process it in a much better way. So we might think what is there in just repeating, or what is there in just telling these things, because when you do this, now they some of them might be seeing for the first time what is going on within their head, and in a more clear way. Okay. So the one more response could be, you're feeling trapped in a job that brings you no satisfaction, and fear of the unknown and potential failures holding you back from pursuing something more fulfilling. Same thing, right? I think I twice. Okay. So we'll go to the next one. So client is saying, my parents are always criticizing my decision, no matter what I do. It's like it's like they don't want me to live my own life, and I want to be independent, but their constant judgment makes me doubt myself. So pick up the emotions.
Being criticized.
Yeah, being criticized is the action or experience. So if when you are being criticized, how will you?
Experience.
Yeah, that is an experience. Yes. And emotions?
Inferiority.
Guilty, inferior.
Yeah, inferiority or self-doubt, basically. What else?
Guiltiness.
Guilty? What is
Lot
guilty?
self-confidence, less self-confidence.
Less self-confidence is there. That self-doubt, less self-confidence, all of them are they are similar. I don't think guilty is there here. Maybe you can see some amount of frustration might be there, that you are not letting me do whatever I want to do. Okay, and definitely he's getting affected by this criticism. So
He's
it
feeling
is.
rejected that he's not able to do anything on his own.
Yes, you can use that. You can use that. Very
Fearing
good.
that his parents won't approve of his decisions.
Yes, very good. So let's see what I have written here. So the basic empathic response would be, it sounds like your parents' criticism is really affecting you. Okay, very simple. Intermediate empathic response would be, you seem very impacted by your parents' criticism. which is making it hard for you to feel confident in your decisions. Okay. Advanced empathic response would be your parents' constant criticism making you doubt your ability to make decisions and live independently. This must be incredibly frustrating and undermining for you. Okay, so there is picking up that frustration. But I want you to notice there is always tentativeness in all these statements. And the continuous criticism from your parents is causing you to question your judgment and undermining your confidence in your ability to live independently. It sounds like this is creating a significant internal conflict and impacting your self esteem. Okay, so this internal conflict is I want to do something, but I'm doubtful of doing it. A part of him wants to do, part of him is doubting. So that is the conflict part of it. You know that this is conflict because there are two things opposing to each other within. So we are bringing out saying that there is an internal conflict. You are just slowly using or bringing that to his awareness. So it seems like your parents' criticism is making you question your own judgment and ability to make decisions. You want to assert your independence, but their constant scrutiny is undermining your confidence. So the reason I kept that in red letters is probably if you are using it in the initial stages, it may not be appropriate. Okay. So let's explore how these interactions with your parents are impacting your sense of self and what steps you might take to assert your independence while managing their reactions. Okay. You are trying to move him towards action. Okay. This you will not do in the initial stages. So quickly, the next one, client says, I failed my last exam. Now I feel like I am never going to graduate. What is the point of even trying anymore? Similar to the one that we have seen yesterday. So it sounds like failing your exam has really discouraged you. Intermediate, you seem very discouraged by failing your exam, and it's making you question your ability to graduate. Okay, advanced empathic response. Failing your exam has left you feeling hopeless about your future and questioning whether it's worth continuing. So this must be very difficult and demoralizing experience for you. Complex empathic response. Failing your exam has led to feelings of hopelessness and doubts about your ability to graduate. It sounds like this setback is making you question your entire academic journey and whether it's worth continuing. Let's explore what steps you can take to move forward from this. Failing your exam has left you feeling hopeless and questioning your ability to succeed. However, this setback does not define your entire academic journey. Okay, you're probably giving some encouragement. Okay, you're also educating the person. Let's look at what you can learn from this experience and how you can use it to develop strategies that will help you succeed in the future. What steps can you take to improve and move forward? Okay, so the reason I included this is, see, we have talked about these kind of statements from you all yesterday. Okay, when I was giving similar example. So the reason I included is I meant to say that your ideas were not wrong, but probably they are not useful in the initial stages. Okay. So once you develop that therapeutic relationship, once you develop that understanding, you slowly move the client. You have to look at the readiness of the client as well. So the quickly I'll present the last one. Okay. The client is saying I've been feeling really isolated since the breakup. I know it was for the best, but I can't shake this feeling of emptiness and loss. It's like part of me is missing. So I'll directly go to advanced empathic response. Since the breakup, you are experiencing profound feelings of emptiness and loss, even though you know it was the right decision. It feels like a part of you is missing. This must be very painful and challenging experience for you. Okay, and then probably you can add saying these feelings of loss are valid and it's important to acknowledge. Let's delve into these emotions to understand them better and find ways to rebuild your sense of self. See, can you see how we are progressing? Okay, so we start with basic empathy and we slowly move towards advanced empathy. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I think with this we'll start with empathy and we will go into some other skills of probing and encouraging. Okay. See, I mean, when you empathize with a client, when you give an empathic response, usually what they do is they spontaneously talk. If your empathy is accurate, they will take from there and they will only talk. But sometimes when they don't talk spontaneously, you may have to probe and encourage them to talk. Basically, probing is used to help raise their own self awareness. Also, as a therapist, you want to get some more clarity. Okay. So, like probes can be of many types. Okay. Probes can be non-verbal prompt, like simple when somebody is talking something important, like once they said something, then you slightly lean towards them, saying that you are willing to listen more, you're interested more. Then they would continue to talk. Okay, then uh, like statements, you can use verbal and vocal prompts, like you are listening to them. Okay, and then statements, uh, like statements are probably, I would say, most common form of probes. Okay, uh, let me give you an example. Let's say you're talking to a client who is having problems with, let's say, his 35-year-old son who is still living at home, who is still dependent on them, who is not working. And I've been working with that father, and father says, uh, uh, like whether to send him or not outside. Okay, he's thinking of sending, asking him to go outside and live. Okay, but whether he is going to take that action is not clear to me. Then I would use a statement saying, it is still not clear to me whether you want to challenge your son to leave the house or not. Okay. Then that might prompt the client to say, well, I want to, but I don't just know how to do it, without making him feel that I'm deserting him or I'm alienating him. And I don't want to sound like I don't care about him. Okay. So it's basically taking from there. You don't have the clarity, you don't have the full understanding. That's why you have used that. And you can also use questions uh, like in that situation, or if that person reacts like that, how are you going to respond? You want to know what is their reaction, or how do you react when she says that? Okay, you can also say statements like or questions like, last week when we spoke about engaging in or taking some action, you were very much enthusiastic, but today I seem to I see a lot of hesitation in you. Am I just reading it, or is there something that is going on? Okay, you can ask those things. Basically, it is to get some clarity, get some more information, and bring to their awareness what is going on. Okay. You can also use single words or phrases. Like somebody might say, I've had enough and I cannot go like this anymore. No matter what, I'm going to move forward. But you really don't know what is moving forward means. You would simply say, move forward to, and just leave there. Okay, then they will take it from there. So basically, we will make the client talk more, we will talk less. Okay. The goal of these probes is to get clarity. Like basically, a therapist is in some kind of darkness. He doesn't have the full clarity of what is going on. Then you will use probe. So you will not use probe just because you have to use probes. Okay. So there is a purpose and intention behind it. So basically, when you are using probing and encouraging, don't ask too many questions. Okay. Ask questions that have a purpose and ask more of open-ended questions, not closed-ended questions. So don't ask, you can ask, how did you feel? But don't ask, did you feel angry or sad? So your assumption is they would have felt anger or sadness. But if you ask, how did you feel? He might talk about variety of other emotions as well. So keep it open, ask open-ended question. Your questions should focus on the client's issue. Okay, not because you are curious, you want to know some other things. Okay, keep checking with the client how whether the client is benefiting from the process, how the client is feeling about the process, counseling process. That's when you will use probes and questions. Okay, so I think that's all. Probably we can stop today here, and maybe tomorrow we will talk about summarizing, and if time permits, we'll also talk about challenging or confronting. We will look at some examples and try to understand challenging and confronting. So if you have any questions from what we have just discussed, you can ask me, or you can go over your responses. Try to find out transcripts of sessions. Some transcripts of sessions are available online, like some sessions which are already conducted, and try to observe how the conversation is happening between the therapist and client. So yesterday I was telling you that we needed to write verbatim. That's how we needed to write. We needed to write what the client said, what I said. Then what the client said, what I said, and then I'll show it to my supervisor. Supervisor go over and rates each of those things and tells me where I am missing empathic response. At least writing your own notes, your own session notes, then reflecting on it would really help improve your responses.
So, but sorry, this is Sarita Singh. Um, so can you
Yes,
hear
yes,
me?
yes, I can hear you.
Sir, actually, like, when you are giving the uh, question, like, from client point of view, when you are giving that statement, I am unable to uh, catch up the immediate response, like, basic empathetic response, I am not getting.
Hmm.
Does this mean they have to practice, or I'm unable to understand? I don't know, like,
No,
kind of
see
little.
now it's a skill, right? Skill means when we practice, we can get it. Some people might have it, like probably that aptitude to pick up quickly. Some people might not have it. Okay, initial days I found to sorry, I struggled to find right emotion word to replace what they're saying. I always used to say the same emotional word. So then my supervisor asked me to, have you seen something called emotion wheel? An
Emotion.
emotion wheel? Yeah. Let me just see whether I have it. Quickly share it.
Today, I think we have. It starts with a client statement. Also.
Sorry?
That emotion will start with the client statement. Is that yesterday you have shown some
No,
cycle?
no. Emotion wheel is basically all the list of emotions The same family of emotions, if you know all those emotion words, it is easy for you to replace. Let just give me a minute time. I'm just checking it out. Can you see this?
Ah.
So these are all emotion wheel for positive emotion. So if the client is saying, let's say for example, I'm feeling honored. So you can find another similar word which can replace it depending upon the context. So it is good to know emotions and family of emotions. Okay, and probably there are words for uh, uncomfortable emotions as well. Let me just share that. So if somebody says I'm feeling inadequate, what is the other word that you can use?
Insufficient dissatisfaction.
So you can probably take from this wheel where like inadequate is closely associated with, let's say, inferior. Okay, on purple part of the wheel, there is afraid. Then there is like
Insecure.
yeah,
Insecure.
insecure, inferior. Depending upon the context, you can use that. It's good to know these words, this vocabulary.
Okay.
Okay, and you need to like start observing the emotion behind what our family members are saying. Okay, you need to start practicing this in your day-to-day life also, so that it becomes natural to you when you are doing a counseling session.
And sir, one more doubt. Like,
Yes.
you said when the client is explaining his problem, like, you know, I got a client and I am the mediator and you are my boss. Then whatever he is telling, I have to note it down. But in meantime, how do I write the each and everything? Like, actually, when he told to me that sentence formation that may differ if I sit alone and write.
It,
If I sit and like, if I
See,
write,
that I would say that comes by practice. It is possible
oh,
that comes by practice. Okay, you don't have to write each and everything. You can write an important thing so that once you look at that notes later, see,
then we can
the first,
elaborate.
yeah, first thing is don't feel compelled to immediately respond. Just
Yeah,
take
that,
a few seconds time to process it. Okay, clients don't mind that. Rather than giving inaccurate response just to fill the time, if you say something, they will easily understand you're saying because you don't have anything to say.
yeah,
Okay, just
okay,
just pause for a while, reflect on it, and then respond.
okay,
Okay.
okay. If we give a wrong expression or wrong way of response, then he may feel that he is not understanding anything what I said.
Yes, obviously,
Oh,
right. Just to fill the time, if you say, it's of
okay,
no use.
okay,
Okay.
okay. Thank you, sir.
So tomorrow we will talk about summarizing and challenging and confrontation.
And sir, before you start the next session, can you please tell me the unit chapter, which unit you are telling in our
See, I'm not following unit by unit. I'm talking about the skills of each of those stages, the important one.
okay,
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So because most of the units are uh, Egan's stages only.
Okay.
Okay.
The day you were doing
Yeah.
most of the.
Yeah. So Egan stages we have seen. So if you see only all the chapters